here, I'm sitting back. Here, I'm tipping forward. And look at that difference. So we'll put that in slow motion for you. But when I'm sitting back, Mercurio had a nice tempo. He was balanced. He was round. The second I tipped forward, he hollowed and he got quicker in the tempo. In today's video, we are talking about stop leaning forward. Let me know in the comments below if you have a bad habit of leaning forward. I feel like this is one of the most common issues in students that I see. So in today's video, I'm going to show you, number one, why it's really important to sit back on your horse, and then give you some different images or pictures or ideas that might help you with sitting back more. Newsflash, the Olympics are this week. I don't know about you, but I'm so inspired watching those riders, their amazing position, and how they're able to communicate with subtle and effective aids. Because of that, I've opened the doors just for a few days to my rider position transformation program, where you're going to learn step by step how to kick those old bad habits in your riding position so that you can feel connected and in balance in the saddle. You are going to get rid of those old nagging bad habits and learn to ride with harmony, balance, and clear and effective aids. I'm going to teach you step by step what every single part of your body should be doing in the saddle. We are starting with your seat. So many riders focus way too much on their hands. The reality of it is that your seat is the most important part of your position. All you need to do is check out the description box, but don't wait because this program is only open for a couple of days. Rider position really is everything. Your horse is your mirror, and your horse goes the way you ride them. So the better your position, the better your horse is going to be. First of all, I'm going to demonstrate bad rider position, and this is kind of what I see happen, the most frequent thing that I see happen. And when riders tend to tip forward, it always seems like you tip forward at the worst times possible. So I'm going to just go up to Canter. So one of the most common times for riders to tip forward is in downward transition. So like they're going to the trot and they lean forward and pull, or they're going to the walk and they lean forward and pull. And the reason that it's really bad to lean forward in your downward transitions is because it puts all of the weight on your horse's forehand. The other time when I see riders tip forward is when they get nervous or when their horse gets nervous. And again, that's the worst time, because if I feel Mercurio get tense and I kind of do this and curl up into fetal position, he can very easily spook or spin around or turn, and I'm just going to go right off the front of him. So really it's about safety. Sitting back and sitting connected is going to keep you safe and keep you from falling off first and foremost, but it's also going to help your horse stay better balanced. In dressage, we want our horses to take more weight behind. So sitting back is going to help to keep your weight back on the hind end. So here's a couple of visuals that may help you with your sitting back. One of my favorite ones is I think about my ponytail going down towards my horse's tail. So I say, like, put your ponytail closer to your horse's tail. And this just reminds you to keep your shoulders back and think about putting your weight back on your horse's hind end. So here I'm sitting back. Here I'm tipping forward. And look at that difference. So we'll put that in slow motion for you. But when I'm sitting back, Mercurio had a nice tempo. He was balanced. He was round. The second I tipped forward, he hollowed and he got quicker in the tempo. Another visual that might help you remember to sit back, which I like this more for the canter, is hips forward. So hips, 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 hips forward, hips forward, hips forward. And this reminds you to keep your shoulders back. So in the canter, your body is kind of like a pendulum. Your shoulders are still and your hips are going swing, swing, hips, 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 hips forward, hips forward, hips forward, hips forward, forward, hips forward, hips forward. Good boy. Good boy. And then our third visual that might help you is your belly button in front of your nose. So I actually got this from Nick, a girl that helps me with office hours. And she said, okay, bronc riders are always keeping their belly button in front of their nose. Because the second you get pitched forward, you're coming off that bronc. So keep your belly button in front of your nose. That means your head and your shoulders back and your belly button forward. Now you don't want to lean too far back, because if I lean too far back like this, for one, it makes it super uncomfortable and kind of painful on my back. And for two, you're way out of alignment. So, good boy. When I talk about sitting back, it's so that you have a straight line from your ear, shoulder, hip, heel. One last tip to help you with sitting back. Anytime you're going to ride a downward transition, you must prepare by sitting back with your shoulders. So if I'm gonna walk, sit back, half halt, walk. Good boy. That's super important, because what happens in downward transitions is that your horse is decelerating, right? They're slowing down. So in a downward transition, if you're at all tip forward and your horse slows down, you're gonna go even more forward when they finally do that downward transition. Think about when you're in your car and you're driving and you hit the brakes hard, your seatbelt catches you, but you don't have a seatbelt when you're riding. So your seatbelt is sitting back and keeping your core tight. I hope you liked this one. Let me know in the comments if it was helpful, which visual you liked the most, and subscribe. Tell all your friends about our awesome content, because it really helps me out. And I make a new video for you every single Wednesday.